Hey everyone, Mango7Roll here. How are we doing today? Welcome to another episode of Epic 7. Today we're gonna rant. I'm sorry, it's a rant day. Everybody grab your whatever you do when it's rant day and let's rant for a little bit because I'm gonna rant just for a little bit, okay? Just let me have this one. So first thing, before we get off into this, a lot of people might call me a hypocrite for this, and it's okay. I understand I have really weird stances on things, you know, like I've got such weird outlooks on so many different games, and a lot of them seem to collide a lot. But my general theory is as long as you cannot buy power, and I mean specifically power, I don't mean summons. I understand buying summons is kind of buying power, but as long as you can't specifically buy power, I am okay. A really good example of this is Dragalia Lost. I was not okay with them selling power packs, basically selling weapon upgrades, selling other stuff that people couldn't get just with good RNG in game. And it's kind of tough right now because we're in a really rough spot. A really good example is the Mystic packs. I'm not really okay with the Mystic packs, but I'm still supporting them. They are just too good for me to pass up. And it's at the point where you have to spend if you want to super compete, or at least even have fun or have like a rare character that nobody else has, even though everybody has them now, that you have to spend that like literal $700 a month. And that's ridiculous. And I don't like being in that spot. I feel like I was kind of pushed into it with the first one being ML Araminta. Like there was no way I could realistically skip that. But now with the new ones being super overpowered too, it's just kind of scaring me, and I'm not really sure what to do about that. I feel like I can't keep supporting Mystic packs, because Mystic summons were in a perfect spot, and as soon as I saw them, and as soon as I saw the Moonlight there, I was like, oh lord, I know what this is coming to, and it unfortunately did, and it unfortunately did really quick. I was hoping they would do maybe like one pack a month, and that was it, but the amount of packs they're offering are just too much. But that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about the equipment packs and why you should not buy them, and I beg you guys not to buy them. Please don't buy them. And that said, I am not saying don't buy them because they're bad value, because I honestly think they're really good value. There's people getting a lot of hate for saying to buy them, but in all honesty, like if you have the money to spend, you should be buying them in terms of power, if you're just going for power. That said, I really don't. Like, this is not me recommending you to buy them. I really hope you don't. A lot of people compare why you would buy the equipment pack when you could just buy the leaf pack or something like that. And it's not a matter of buying this or that. It's a matter of buying this and that. So people that are buying this pack are not going to just like pick this over the leaf pack. They're going to buy them both. So that's something to consider when you're trying to compare these packs back and forth. So I'm going to talk about Summoner's War for a bit. A lot of you guys really don't like it when I talk about Summoner's War, but you have to remember this game is literally derived from it. Everything is the same, the role system is the same, the packs are the same, the pricing is the same, the equipment is the same. Like we have the same slots, the same right side, the same left side in Summoner's War. Everything is identical. There are specific pieces you can only get speed. There's specific pieces you can only get crit damage. Everything 100% the same. Even the same like effectiveness is needed, and everything is identical. And we got these packs in Summoner's War. And one of my favorite parts about Summoner's War and Epic 7 is in general is you can always pay to win for summons. You can always pay to win for that RNG. But summons are only going to get you so far, and where is really going to get you to compete outside of like stuff like Ruel and really OP units, it's going to be your gear and how long you spend farming for your gear, because in general the time spent for the game is going to get you the power. But with these packs coming up, that's kind of where that the range of somebody who spends money and the range of somebody who spends a lot of time is going to gap further and further and further. So free-to-play players that do spend a lot of time on the game farming to get that incremental gear upgrades are going to go further and further and further away from people who pay to win equipment packs. So for the longest time in Summoner's War, you could never buy anything equipment related. And they eventually came out with packs basically identical to this. And they weren't really well received. People were buying them, but you didn't really get too much out of them. And then things got further. So let's kind of step through the stages of gear changes we got. in Summoner's War. So the first thing we got, obviously, was the equipment buying things like we have here. Next up, let's take a look at this one here, just any 85 epic speed set necklace. Next up, we were able to change a substat, and we could do this by farming. So this was like more of a long-term farming goal instead of a pay-to-win goal. But we could do stuff like change this flat defense here to something else that could have rolled. So we could change flat defense to speed or something like that. So we could get rid of the bad stat and add something good. We couldn't change it to defense or crit damage or anything that didn't fit on the set piece. Like we couldn't put defense on a weapon, for example, because of that. So it was within line with the game, and it just allowed you to alter your gear just a little bit to make it a little bit better. Another thing you could do is add stats to the already given gear. So you could change this defense to speed, for example, and then you could up your speed a couple points just to kind of grind it. They were called grindstones and runestones, I think, or grindstones and gems. Grindstones and gems. So I am fully confident we're going to get that here, and we'll probably get it with some sort of raid type thing where we can farm pieces, kind of like a dungeon. You'd farm Wyvern 11 now for runes. You would farm whatever else dungeon for grindstones and gems to kind of alter your gear a little bit better. Just think of it like a refining place. I kind of expect it to be a sanctuary type thing, like the alchemy places where I figured it would be, or like a blacksmith or a refining shop or something like that. Next up, I'm pretty sure this is right. Please correct me if I'm wrong. But the next wave of equipment purchasing packs guaranteed non-flat stats on some pieces. I might be wrong here, but I kind of remember that happening. I didn't buy these ever, but I remember like getting a guaranteed like percent on a legendary rune, for example, or a legendary piece of gear in Summoner's War. And that was like the next step of pay to winness. And then fast forward a little bit, we hit what was called reappraisal stones. And reappraisal stones were the death of the game to me. Obviously, the game didn't die. It made infinity dollars for that, but it died to me because I had been farming that game for 4 years, and I had put my time into the game and was ahead of so many other people that spent a lot of money because of my time and devotion towards the game. And then reappraisal stones came in. And this is an exact point that will show you the power difference in somebody who buys reappraisal stones versus somebody who doesn't. So what reappraisal stones do is they re-roll the substats on a piece of gear. So if you have this one here, for example, if you used a reappraisal stone on this, you could re-roll all of these substats. It would just randomly re-roll like a new plus 15 thing, pretty much exactly like if you had had another drop and it was completely random substats all the way up to plus 15. The main stat stayed as well. So we would keep the 55% crit chance, and all of these would change. So you could go from something like this to rolling quad speed or 5 times speed. Just super RNG at the bottom there. And you can basically infer from that how many chances of good epics you get. So the first time they were even released, they screwed up, in quotes, and you could buy infinity of them. You could literally buy as many reap stones as you wanted, even though they were supposed to be limited to like 10 a month or something like that. And this was like a $40 pack or something like that. So it was like $400 or $500 a month to really get that edge. And this is for so many different chances of new epics. And the reason this is important is because I've been farming Wyvern 11 for how long now? I'm not sure how long. I could probably go back to my videos and see, but a long time. And in that time, I have literal 100% 85 epic speeds with ideal sets. So I'm talking about 85 epic HP percent, 85 epic crit damage percent, even 85 epic defense percent for both rings and necklace. I have literal 0 of them, absolutely 100% 0. So that is super, super, super not good. And then you have to go to somebody else. Let's say somebody else gets one of them dropping. They could then re-roll it 10 times, giving them essentially 10 different drops of that to get the ideal substats. And that is insane. Like, so unbelievably insane that I It bothers me. It's so nuts. And it basically got to the point where every month people got that much ahead of you that spent that money. And it got to the point where I dropped from like a top 50, top 100 player to like top 300 to a little bit further, just because of what this meant for the power level of the game. And you might think, well, it's only a couple extra things. How does that matter? And then you go into PvP and all of a sudden their Ruzid is 30 speed higher than yours because they reapped a bunch of slot 4 and slot 6s, or right side, I mean. And they got 20 speed substats because they paid $400 a month and kept reapping until they got the speed substats. Whereas you were stuck with whatever you had drop, which is basically like one every 3 months. So I hope that makes sense to you. It's really hard to explain without having seen it happen, you know, like seen all the differences and all the problems of the things happen. So this is why I really beg you guys not to buy these packs, because it just leads to so much more in the future. And maybe if we take a stand, maybe they will not sell these packs in the future. And I really hope they don't, but I feel like they're going to. It's kind of hard not to, right? They make infinity dollars, and it's hard not to say yes to infinity dollars. So it is what it is. Anyways, please let me know in the comments below if you have any questions, if you have any concerns, if you have any specific questions about the system in Summoner's War. If I didn't cover anything right, just know that this is where the free-to-play gap is going to super go away. Like, the gap between free-to-play and like pay-to-win is kind of close, especially if you have good RNG as free-to-play. And now it's going to be like way over here if we start getting these packs. And you might be saying, Mango, you're a whale. Why are you complaining? And a lot of people don't realize, like, I don't wail for power. I've never wailed for power, and I never will. I wail for fun. I wail for Iseria. I wail for Bride Ninian. I wail for stuff that just doesn't matter in terms of power. I will never buy the equipment packs. Even if somebody donated towards me and told me to buy the packs, I still wouldn't buy it. So I just know that this is coming from like a free-to-play style player, because I did play free-to-play in a game, or close to free-to-play anyway, in a game like this that had this happen to it. So just know I have most of your guys's and gals' best interests in heart, I think. So that's about all I can say today. I'm sorry this is a roundabout video. You guys can kind of tell when it gets a little heated with me, when I rant a little bit, I kind of go in circles, and that's because I care so much and I try to hit all the points, and it doesn't always work. So thank you so much for watching. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe as always, and I'll talk to you later. Bye, everybody.